Welcome to the Projector Ship, ladies and gentlemen, the cinema center of the stars where we manipulate the lives of galactic citizens and manufacture their experiences for your amusement. Today we'll be taking a look at what will soon be a freshly minted terrain protectorate on their graduation day, so buckle in and get ready for a grand old time. Before we dive into the real meat of our show though, let's peek into the kitchen and see how the metaphorical sausages are made, shall we? As you'd expect, our organic life forms are artificially assembled on a character creation slab at the start of every screening. Their presentation, palette, and personalities are pulled from a diverse pool of possibilities, and their gender is assigned at random. This little Florin here, the star of our show, is being set as a confident blue rose with a healthy head leaf. Proper plant pronouns can be complicated for newcomers to grasp, but since we're merely short-term observers, we'll designate them with neutral terminology for simplicity's sake. Once a life form's anatomy is settled, the generator selects a unique identifier for the creature. In the case of our Florin, it felt Ambo was appropriate, but we're inclined to disagree. We need a name more befitting of a hero, something with an elegant overtone and a strong presence that can strike fear into the hearts of those who hear it. Now let's get to our main event. We want to give you a show to remember, so we've shoehorned our little Florin friend into a rather welcoming reality. But as far as the galactic community is concerned, they've always been a part of it. 10 seconds ago they were dangling in our labs, and now they're a promising graduate in one of the galaxy's finest institutions. Now let's see what the future holds for them. Although Florin are plant-based organisms, they're fond of sleep and engage in its practice often. In the case of our fledgling hero, they've seemingly slept in today and might run late for the graduation ceremony. Intrigue from the onset. That hardly matters to them though. Within seconds of climbing out of bed, they've already received a party invitation to join a crew and start their Starbound career. And just look at them. We've got a diverse cast of characters here, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly a group worth watching. But I digress. Now that any of our Florin's woes about life post-graduation have wilted, they can take a moment to enjoy the simpler things this morning, like listening to jams on Earth's latest and greatest music player, or casually sitting on the toilet. Here's a little trivia for you, ladies and gentlemen. Despite being carnivorous monsters, Florins have no need for restroom business. They just enjoy recreational sitting and welcome an audience, although few ever come to watch the spectacle. After a thorough sit, our leading leaf looks ready to take on the ceremony. Look at him jump with excitement. Before they shuffle out the door though, a little more rest is in order. Snoozing is such an alluring act that Florins break the very boundaries of reality to nab a nap. Our little buddy seems satisfied with how far they're behind schedule, so it's time for them to press on. As is standard in all educational institutes worth their salt, uniforms are mandatory at the Protectorate Academy. They aren't particularly stylish, but conformity is never a good look. Florins aren't usually keen on becoming protectors, but the role comes with a few perks, like a standard issue matter manipulator. And since graduation is a guarantee now, punctuality is optional. The only hurdle left in our hero's way is the faulty vending machine. It regularly robs patrons of their change, but it contains the Florin race's beverage of choice, so taking a gamble is a necessary evil. Other than that, the Academy is a pretty swell establishment. It's acclaimed throughout the universe, a place where only the best and brightest can champion their way through its rigorous curriculum. The view is a sight to behold too. Beautiful. Truly a paradise on Earth. Everyone's happy here. Our Florin friend appreciates the atmosphere and wouldn't pass up a chance to observe its beauty, even if it means bonding with strangers. When they finally arrive outside the ceremony, they're scolded by an apex at the door, but our hero pays them no mind and saunters inside to begrudgingly mingle with their mates. 4 other individuals were permitted to graduate today, and there's a second Florin among them. This is something of a rarity since those vicious flowers usually aren't keen on becoming protectors. Members of their species never raise through the ranks though. Esteem is typically reserved for humans, but our Florin doesn't care. They're here for the same reason as this glitch, to claim an advanced piece of weaponry. The ceremony kicks off with what seems like a traditional opening speech, so let's just pause for a second. We know what's coming. There's going to be a lot of pandering, hallmark statements and hollow sentiments, words of encouragement, hopes for the future, the standard fare these events are known for. But you've come to the Projector Ship for entertainment, so we won't subject you to such drab discussions. Let's flip the script. That's the ticket. Nothing livens up a ceremony like death and destruction. I hope you find this to your liking, ladies and gentlemen. We're here to ensure you're amused at any cost, so this planet's future is a small price to pay. If you're worried about what'll come of our little Florin friend, don't you worry. By some stroke of luck, they were close enough to the stage to be granted the speaker's personal matter manipulator. Not as cool as getting a brand new one, but given the circumstances, it's more than sufficient. With Earth crumbling apart, it no longer matters that history never commemorated the accomplishments of Florin on these walls. It also looks like our leading leaf will be the only graduate getting out of this facility alive. It's a good day for our little fellow. And look at that! They stumbled upon a weapons chest containing a broken broadsword. What are the odds they'd find something so critical to their survival moments before it's needed? Our little friend probably believes in destiny now. They've been chosen by our producers for 15 minutes of fame. To keep our pacing on track, the evacuation vessel doesn't wait to see if there's any more survivors. Once our Florin boards, it sets right off into space. After a traumatic experience like that, our hero will definitely want to be amongst friends, so without delay they warp off to an abandoned ship nearby to rendezvous with the new crew. When they arrive, they come to find an ominous glitch is already waiting for them in the teleporter bay. It's not just any run-of-the-mill robot though. This one happens to be a Diablo Model 545. They're a particularly powerful brand of glitch, known for their brutality, hostility, and an insatiable bloodlust. Since the Diablo drone is armed with a heftier blade and a powerful firearm, our Florin doesn't seem too comfortable in its company, but they warm up to it after the ship's leaf snake shows some affection. Seemingly pleased with the level of fear it wrung out of our hero, the Diablo drone reveals a secret. It's a member of their team. But just before our hero has a chance to react, a shiny Galade appears. Oh, how the plot thickens. Now, as any good scholar knows, Florins have a natural fear of fire and electricity despite being grass types, but that puts them on a level playing field with psychic fighting Pokemon like Galade. Suffice it to say, they'll make for fast friends. Those bipedal blade bearers are actually a rarity among the stars, but sightings in the region have been increasing in the years following our promising Gardevan project, but that's a tale for another day. This Pokemon is another crewmate. He looks to be a formidable fighter too, sporting a pair of black glasses despite the species' shallow dark-type move pool. Galade promptly inspects the ship with his flashlight, looking for a way to bring the lights back online, while the Diablo drone ruminates in silence off to the side. Our Florin isn't one for patience, however, and swings their sword at the terminal. The Diablo drone is unfazed by their brash action, but Galade is spooked and showcases the first technique among his moveset, Teleport. A pretty standard move for Pokemon of their kind. It still fascinates our Florin friend though. They're taken aback by it. Without warning, Diablo breaks the silence by reaffirming its status as friend of the ship and its crew, which is soon met with a message from the vessel's onboard computer, informing everyone that beaming down to the planet's surface to seek repairs would be a wise course of action. Smacking it seems to have worked. Normally, Florins aren't quick to accept the advice of machines, but they're familiar with SAIL units. Their acronym stands for Ship-Based Artificial Intelligence Lattice, and Florins have something of a kinship with Lattice, so they're quick to put their trust into them. At least that's what we're warping their brain chemistry to believe for the sake of plot progression. We wouldn't want to get hung up on character development this early in the adventure. Before they set off for the surface, Galade insists they gear up and visit the fourth member of their crew, the mysterious mage Maria. Our hero warps without hesitation and is left in awe of the ship's splendors. What wonders lie within its chest and cabinets, they ponder. And that's not an assumption either. We actually know that's what they're thinking since we conduct routine mind scans to probe for notable narrative nuggets to share. What surprises our little fellow most of all is the sight of another Florin manning the controls. We may have already known the mage was one of them from the icon to the left, but this is a revelation to our protagonist. They weren't expecting to be joined by another of their kind here, and the excitement shared through their blank empty eyes is palpable. Our leafy lead approaches Mage Maria to offer a formal introduction, but the Diablo drone warps in to do the deed on their behalf and issue a request to relocate to a new planet. Our Florin is clearly conflicted and confused, but that's a natural state given all we're putting them through for you. They run to the teleporter to confirm that shipmates can warp directly to each other rather than just the ships they occupy. The revelations are mounting. When our hero exits the teleporter menu, Galade's already on the scene to help them gather the appropriate gear. He and Maria first instruct them to look into a wooden crate to pick up some snacks. Popcorn is available, but all Florins know the only treats worth eating are jelly roots. Galade also insists our leafy lead grab 20 core fragments to take down to the surface. And Mage Maria extends a wooden shed, a symbol of friendship in Florin culture. Being a member of the crew also demands an edgier aesthetic, so Mage Maria also presents our hero with a slick pair of shades. That's not all though. Impressed by how hip our Florin has become, Galade guides them back to the wooden crate to claim a new shirt, spear, and other gear. Mage Maria and Galade armed our hero well, but we here at the Projector Ship never want to leave our protagonist at a disadvantage in the field, so we're taking the liberty of granting him a gift for the journey ahead, an Urchius Eye. It's a dangerous, accursed relic from the depths of the underworld. The destructive power of its blast alone is incredible, against organic matter. Galade was in some serious danger there if our hero mishandled the beam, but the ship isn't so much as scratched by its stream. Unfortunately, the power didn't corrupt our Florin friend like anticipated, so instead of slipping into madness and bringing a little more intrigue to the tale, they'll instead be carrying out one of the species' most mundane traditions, coating the ceiling with grass. That's what they got the matter manipulator for. It's as boring to watch as you might presume, so we'll just fast forward through that and they're finished and ready to go. Galade and our Star Sprout land upon a planet with a most unfortunate name. Their trek through the darkness is met with monsters, and they quickly find themselves facing a bird and bear in battle. The temptation to test the eye in combat is too alluring for our hero, so they put it into action and make light work of the opposition. As sunlight drenches the horizon, they encounter fearsome vegetable villains. They're far less dangerous than what they've just faced though, so the spear is back in action to avoid overkill. That kind of restraint is a trait among heroes. Although dull, it's commendable. But our lovable protagonist is flawed, and after enough combat, the eye's beckoning calls convinces them to pull it out again to dispatch the weak. Its influence is growing. With the sun now rising overhead, their destination is close at hand. All that's left to endure is dips into hostile waters and a little spelunking to harvest valuable plant fibers. These are truly moments of deep, meaningful character development you'll only experience here on the Projector Ship, ladies and gentlemen. When they finally dig themselves back up to the land above, they arrive at the foot of their goal, an ancient gate. Gallade previously inspected the site and confirmed it needed 20 core fragments to resume operations. The dimensional rift it rips into the sky is a little too high to reach by jumping, but through the power of menus, our hero can enter it. What lies on the other side of the portal is the Ark, one of the local galaxy's largest centers for commerce and community. Gallade is all too familiar with these sorts of hubs, so he leaves our Floran friend to explore on their own and seek a suitable repair shop for their derelict ship. They see some interesting stores like Infinity Express and Terramart along the way, the latter of which is renowned for its eclectic selection of exotic eggs, but neither are selling anything the crew needs. They reluctantly approach a nearby cluster of locals to search for leads, but it doesn't take long before they realize it won't prove fruitful. Fortunately, through a little elbow grease and determination, they stumble upon a repair shop. And as fate would have it, the owner also claims they can fix the ship's faulty FTL drive for only a few Urchius crystals, which can be conveniently picked up at the nearby Urchius mining facility. What good fortune for our little Floran friend. There's no stakes, and they have everything to gain from the quest before them. That doesn't work for our purposes though, so while our hero returns to the ship to prepare for another outing, we're taking the liberty of awakening an ancient evil deep within the mine's core to ensure a hearty challenge awaits. Instead of being greeted at the door with processed crystals ready to go, our Floran is met with the aftermath of an emergency evacuation. Always the problem solver, they quickly turn on the computers and take a seat to review reports, but they abandon the plan upon realizing it's meaningless since they're unable to read. The only option now is action. Visibility is limited within the facility right now, but it doesn't matter thanks to our illuminating gift. They take a lot of twists and turns on their descent through the darkness, but in time they arrive at a suspicious switch. Curious by nature, our brave hero flips it as we hoped they would, and unleashes further madness upon the facility. But just in the nick of time, as though scripted by some all-powerful force, Gallade arrives on the scene to lend some support in the battles to come. This will be their greatest challenge yet, so the Diablo drone warps down to join them too, and together they subdue another sinister entity creeping through the shadows. The Diablo drone decides to conduct a little reconnaissance, and quickly returns to confirm dangers lurk in the deep and the switch is to blame. It then chooses to go off script and attempts to undo the damage, but to no avail. It was a wise plan that would have worked under normal circumstances, but we just can't have a supporting character having that much agency in our Floran's tale. Without our protagonists coming to the same conclusion on their own, the only way forward is to fight through the enemy ranks. It's a good thing they took proper precautions and packed some medical supplies. As our Floran friend slinks deeper into the mines, they're met with more waves of adversaries. In order to combat them efficiently, our protagonist and Gallade strike at the vanguard while the Diablo drone defends the rear from sneak attacks. Crystal deposits soon become as plentiful as the enemy legions, but they're no good. Unprocessed crystals would take too much time and energy to mine. What they need lies just beyond the sleeping beast we've disturbed. As the party continues their battle through the facility, they stumble upon a survivor. We hadn't planned to leave any of those behind, but it's fine. He didn't know anything that would interfere with the plot. Besides, by opening the door, they've paved the way for enemies to pour in later and take care of them for us. The descent soon began to take its toll on the party. The Diablo drone seems to have retreated to tend to repairs, and our leading leaf has just stepped off an edge that'll decimate their health. The following assault proves too much for our Floran friend to handle after a drop like that, and they soon meet their end at the hands of those red devils. Naturally, this means our show's over, an abrupt and unsatisfying conclusion for our brave hero. But we're not here to broadcast life as it's meant to be. Here on the Projector Ship, we broadcast life as it should be on TV. Until you're satisfied with your viewing experience, our little Floran friend will have as many chances to shine as necessary to show you a good time. And there they are again, right back on the battlefield with the same arsenal and attire you've come to love and expect. Better yet, this latest rendition is also the first to try on a new pair of slacks that completes their ensemble and makes them ready for a profitable line of merchandise. They continue pressing on and pressing buttons, clueless about why they're back and how they returned. There's not much time for them to reflect right now though. Plenty of enemy waves are still at large and need to be pushed through, and that's not the last time they'll fall in battle. With this third shot at life, their teleporter places them directly inside an enemy instead of at Gallade's side. Technology can be fickle, but the dash of dramatic tension makes it acceptable. There isn't much deeper to go before they reach the crystals, but there's more trouble ahead. Miners exposed to the monster's influence take on a hostile shape, and this first encounter is proving to be another close call for our hero. Fortunately, Gallade was able to save the day. Teamwork in action. Look at that. They found a bunker of survivors. We'd be displeased, but this unscripted discovery actually raises the stakes. Now they have lives to defend. Our little Floran friend has certainly grown since graduation. They're still a little dense, but that's why they have allies to keep them on track. That leads us to a question though. How would our hero fare when left alone? The pair stumble upon a small crevice that's ready to ask for us, and it looks like Gallade is set to take the bait. It's a shame to say the enemies have thinned out this deep down, but our Floran friend is handling themselves expertly on the descent. Unfortunately, the split was short-lived, but now all that stands in the way of repairing their FTL drive and saving the miners is behind this door. And the other one behind it. As soon as our heroes see the path leading to the crystal drill, the monster sets its eye on them. The final battle is upon us, ladies and gentlemen. Being a battle-hardened brute, Gallade has experience fighting foes like these, so he knows how to navigate its quirks. Our Floran friend, however, is painfully new to this, and they have a lot to learn. Their footwork continues to be their undoing on the battlefield, and we're left spawning them once again. By the time they return and find the courage to rejoin the fray, the fight's over. Gallade struck its weak point out of view and sealed the vile beast's fate. At least our hero nabbed the final strike, securing a shred of glory for what could have spelled the end for them once again. Our leafy lead in Gallade claimed victory against all odds, saving the humble miners and earning the right to claim some freshly processed Urchius crystals. With their spoils now in hand, they take a moment to admire the fruits of their labor and return to the Ark's outpost. Gallade bids our hero adieu and returns to Mage Maria's ship to regroup with the crew. But before our Floran friend can follow suit and call it a day, they have to deliver the crystals to the repair shop so they can get to work. While our Floran watches the penguins tackle the task, they ponder about the quest they just endured and the cost of it all. How many lives do they have left? That's up to you, ladies and gentlemen. As we always say here on the Projector Ship, so long as our screenings bring a smile to your face, the show must go on. So tune in next time when we see what fresh nightmares await this little scamp. We're sure they're just dying to share their tale with you.